This next tool is pretty boring. It's a drill press. And the process of drilling a hole is actually called boring. Um, so, this is a drill press. It's a drill and it presses it down. Now, when you use a drill press, first thing you need to identify is the bit that you're going to be using. Now, you get the bit that you want to use, and you're going to need a key. This key looks like this. It's just basically a gear that's going to match these teeth. You put it into one of these holes. Like you can see, there's several holes. Put it in, and remember, counterclockwise loosens. So I'm going to spin it counterclockwise, and then the bit comes out. You just need the key to get started, and then you can actually use your hand along the collar. And then you put the drill bit in, and you're going to tighten it by inserting the key clockwise. It shouldn't go anywhere. It needs to be tight. Now, before you actually execute your bore, your drilling, you have to consider the depth you want. Now, to test this, this is what do you call it? It's a crank. So basically, it's almost like you got this wheel that spins, and this is just a lever arm that will give you additional. You have to gives you more leverage. You spin it. When you spin it this way, it's going to put the drill bit down. When you release it clockwise, it goes up. So what you want to do is send this all the way down. Typically, there is a nut that goes onto this. There, you can see there's some teeth here, and you can set the depth using the nut. Our machine does not have this nut. We are working on it, getting a replacement. So to set depth, you get me, because it's a little more tedious. Unfortunately, the way we set our depth here is with this lever. Now, you need to have my help with this, because once you release this, the table drops. Just to show you, you get me? I'm going to release this. There it is. And I'm going to gently bring the table down until we're able to reach the depth we want. I'm going to raise it back up. All right. So now that we have our table locked in place, we need to get our workpiece and potentially a few clamps. Now, you can change the speed of a drill press. You won't be doing that in this class. And to change the speed, you have to change where the bands are. Just so you know, there are bands in here that drive the drill and it connects the motor in the back to the drill in the front. And kind of like a bandsaw, it transfers motion with the tension in this band. So, for our workpiece, we are going to identify a center mark using a pencil. I have a pencil right here. And for that, we use like a little plus sign. You want to measure out where you want that hole to be. But you want a center point because it's much easier to guide the center of the bit into a point versus a circle. So before you get started, there's two ways to approach this. To start, you will get a clamp like this, and you will tighten your workpiece once you have it centered. So it's a little loose now. I'm going to just line up the center of the drill bit while it's off and press it into the center of the wood. There's now a little bump right in the center of the wood. That's showing me it's lined up. Now I can tighten my clamp all the way. This is going to give you some extra help because if you were to start drilling in this and then it catches, it's going to spin the workpiece around and it could hit your fingers and stuff. Bad news. As an extra precaution, your free hand, if the workpiece is large enough, is going to be 4 inches away from the drill bit. You're going to put your palm on the workpiece. This is going to ensure way more surface area contact and a nice tight grip on your workpiece. Now, to bore your holes, you are then going to do a combination of stuff. You're going to flip the blocker to turn it on, and then you're going to slowly spin this until the drill bit goes through the workpiece. You will feel when it goes through the workpiece. Now, here we go. So I'm holding it with my palm. I'm going down slowly, very controlled. And now that I'm in, I'm going to just gently go in. Every so often, bring the drill bit up. It'll get rid of the excess. I go back in. Good. I just went through. I go back up. And I turn it off. Now that I've drilled my hole, I can release it from the clamp. And you'll see I have a nice hole. Beautiful. I blessed this. You want to make sure that blade comes up because the everything that you pull out of the wood, everything that gets cut out of the wood is going to get stuck in the hole. Now, if you don't empty that hole, you're going to have more friction. It's going to start burning the wood, and that's not good. That being said, a lot of friction here. It's going to burn wood. So what do you think is going to happen if I'm drilling a whole bunch of holes and I touch this? It's going to burn my skin. Do not touch the drill bit after you've bored a hole. It's going to be cooler up near the top, but here, it's still warm. It's warm. Yeah, it's warm. If you drill a bunch of holes or larger holes, it's going to be much hotter. Be careful of that. Those are the steps to use a drill press.